allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As we start this meeting, I would like to remind everyone that we are being recorded and broadcast on the City of Carroll's official YouTube channel for viewing purposes only. This is the City of Carroll regular meeting held March 16, 2026 at 6:30 p.m. It only covers the city council, and the podium is what it records. It will not record the outside people. So if you get a little excited, try to keep your conversations with each other down, because it'll get a little bit complicated. So with that said, we will go on with our agenda. We will start with the agenda approval. Do I have an approval to, or do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve the agenda.
Support.
Motion and support. All those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, we will go to public comments. At this time, this is for agenda items only. However, it's not for the public hearing. They'll have their own public comments. So this is anything else that's public on the agenda that you would like to speak on? See any?
Nope.
Okay, let's move on. Next item is communication. Under communication, we have the Downtown Development Authority committee meeting minutes, March 11th, 2026. They're unapproved by the DDA so far. That's in there for communication. Then we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Number one under the consent agenda, the regular council meeting minutes of March 2nd, 2026. Do we have any questions or changes from any council members on that? Hearing none, we will move on to the invoices. It's on page 8. Do we have any questions on the invoices? Hearing none, let's move on to the department reports. The first report is the police report, and that is Chief Brian Newcombs. Do we have any questions for the chief? Hearing none, let's move on to the fire report, and that is Chief Randall Heckroth. Any questions on the fire report? Right. Let's move to number C, the code enforcement report, and that is John Beaupre, and I don't know if he's here, right? But any questions on the code enforcement report? Hearing none, I would ask for a motion to approve the consent agenda, including the invoices, please.
Motion to approve.
You have to repeat it. You have to state it.
Motion to approve the consent agenda to include the invoices.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion support. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay. Let's start with the regular agenda, and we are going to, at this point, I'm going to open the public hearing for the 2026 sidewalk special assessments. And with it being open, let's go to the number 2, which is going to be public comments. Do we have public comments on the 2026 sidewalk special assessments? If you do, please raise your hand. And step up to the podium and state your name, please.
Sharon Slough, Slough. What else did you want?
What your complaint is.
Oh, what I'm complaining, and my husband John, we're complaining about the part of the sidewalk that's listed on our letter that came in the mail. I see nothing wrong with it. I see nothing. I've got pictures of it. I've asked other people. They just don't, and I've asked people to come and look at it, maybe to tell me what they think is wrong with it, that it needs replacing. It would save you guys a lot of money, and it would save us money. And I just don't see the need for it. And I want somebody to tell me what is wrong with this sidewalk that you need to replace it. And that's all I want.
Okay, would you like to speak on that?
We've talked in the open house, and we will be coming by to review it with you. So
I need to know when.
when we can. We have to. I have 3 schedules we got to juggle. So when I figure out what times will work, and then I think you said you're home most times. Okay. So once I figure out when my DPW superintendent, Mike, and myself can all be available, we'll work with you. And then being Michigan, we also have to depend on the weather. So
And you have our address. You have
yes,
our
I
phone number.
believe we do. If not, we'll make sure.
Okay. Can I speak about something else also?
For the public hearing?
Yeah.
Yes, as long as this here.
Is there
The
anything
sidewalks.
going to be done about the drain system that has collapsed across the street from us? Which we're right beside the medical facility. And it's got yellow tape around it now, just in the last few days. I don't know if anybody else knows about it, but it's bad.
Yeah.
It's bad. It's a bad
Okay.
situation. What I'm scared of, and I don't know if it happened or not, would it go underneath the road and just collapse the road eventually? Sinkholes. It's a mess.
Okay, what we'll do there is, that's really not the sidewalk special.
No,
So,
no.
but that's okay, because I will ask the city manager to contact you on that tomorrow too. Okay?
Yeah, it's scary.
Thank you for that.
Mike,
That's
did you
it.
get their number? Can you?
Okay. Any other public comments on the special sidewalk assessment? Sandy?
Nope.
Okay, let's move to the council comments on the sidewalk special assessment. Do we have any council? Yes,
I'm just concerned about the number of sidewalks that are being replaced, because we have so much going on right now with the wells and with the sewer plant being redone. And I'm concerned about putting additional fees onto the citizens at this time. So that is one of my big concerns right now.
okay. Any other comments on this special assessment from council members? Okay, hearing none, then I will ask for a motion to close the public hearing on the 2026 sidewalk special assessments. I need a motion for that, please.
I'll move to close the public hearing on the 2026 sidewalk special assessment.
Okay. We have a motion support on the floor. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes, opposed no. Motion carries. The public hearing on that has been closed. Okay, number 4, the council action on the 2026 sidewalk special assessment. Do we have any type of a motion?
Can I make a motion contingent on the walkthrough of the property? The sidewalk that's in question, that is on the schedule to be revisited?
I'm not sure, yes.
So this motion is only to accept the necessity and scope of the project. It's not the final assessment. So therefore, we will be reviewing those questioned, and then whether or not they're taken out or put out or left in, that will be decided by the time we do this final assessment, which is what we're scheduling for the next meeting.
Okay,
So this is kind of step
okay.
6 of 7 that we have to go through. So this just accepts the necessity of the scope of the program, and we will look at these ones that have been questioned and then come back with the final and say we're either adjusting them out or leaving them. So this is not the final, so that your motion, your request, while I understand, is not necessary this time.
Okay, based on that explanation, I'll make the motion to accept the necessity and scope of the 2026 sidewalk improvement program and special assessment, and schedule a public hearing on Monday, April 6th, 2026 at 6:30 PM to discuss final approval of the special assessment.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Once again, the motion is to accept the necessity and scope of the 2026 sidewalk improvement program and a special assessment, and schedule a public hearing on Monday, April 6, 2026 at 6:30 PM to discuss final approval of the special assessment. That is our main motion. Do we have any debate on the
You
motion?
need a second.
Second.
I'm sorry,
I mean, there was no second.
did you second it?
No.
Did anybody second it?
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Okay. Do we have any debate on it? Hearing none, all those in favor say yes.
Excuse me, I was just getting a further clarification from our city manager that indeed this is just the process of accepting thus far what's been presented, but that this can be adjusted prior to our next meeting.
Correct. So this
Good.
accepts the necessity and scope of the whole project as a whole. The feedback has been received from the open house and from the public hearing. We will review those comments, and then depending on how those resolve, when we present the final assessment roll, which would be decided at the next meeting, they will either be removed if we feel that it's warranted, or if other arrangements can be made, or they'll remain based on our assessment. At that time, that will be the final vote on the actual assessment is at the next meeting. So this is just, like I said, step 5 or 6 of 6 or 7. So this is, we have one more step after that. That's the final vote to say this is the assessment, this is the work we're gonna do. It's why a special assessment has to go through so many steps, so we get this feedback and we make adjustments as we go.
Is that clear, John?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments on the motion? Okay. Hearing none, all those, is that a resolution or not?
No.
Okay, all those in favor say yes? Yes, opposed no?
No.
Motion carries. All right, the next item under regular agenda is number 5. And I will now open the public hearing for the CDBG application. And do you want to explain anything?
For those who may not have been part of this, the CDBG is the Community Block Development Grant. It's a program through MISTA, the Michigan State Housing and Development Authority. Sorry for the acronyms. We have filed an intent to apply for $1.5 million in funding, with $700,000 going to rental rehab, which is being spearheaded by Wasik and Ransford. $530,000 would go towards homeowner rehab, which the city would administer either grants or loans to homeowners for improvements to their homes. I believe it's up to $50,000 or $40,000, depending on if they are what's known as low or moderate income based on a scale provided by the state, and the rest is reserved for administrative costs. So this is a necessary step. This public hearing is to get feedback, and if after the public hearing the council sees fit, one of the required steps to apply is I need a resolution from this council allowing me to apply. And just for a note in the memo, because I didn't know which order these were going in when I sent them to Rita, she forgot to update that. That would be 2026-01 for when you get to the motion. So, but yeah, this is just this step allows me to apply for the CDBG program. And having a public hearing on this is a necessity of the program.
Okay, so at this time, we will ask the public if they have any comments on the CDBG grant application, or if they'd like to speak on it. Do we have any public that would like to speak on this? Can you see any?
Nope.
No one wants to speak on it? No?
I think we're good.
Okay. So we have no public comment to speak on it, so I'll ask council members if they have any comments that they would like to say. Yes,
I have a question. So after reading through this, I had some questions. Is there a committee that is formed to pursue this, or does one person make the decisions? And if there is a committee, what is the committee, who is the committee that puts this together? Primarily like for the homeowners. So if we have the homeowners that want to apply, is there a review committee that will look at their applications and decide on it, or who actually decides on these?
I think that would be determinative based on how we set up that system. I know that the CDBG itself requires one person to be the person to sign the agreements and sign
Right.
the disbursements, which is me. How that would be handled in terms of who's chosen, again, I'm not completely familiar if there's requirements in there for that off the top of my head. However, it could be something as simple as the administrator, whether it be myself or an outside administrator, whether there would like to be some sort of review committee made up of, parties that could be interested in that. Those are options. I don't know if there's a definitive answer if it says one way there what we have to do. However, if that's a desire of the city and there's nothing stopping it, then it is something we can explore as an option, whether we have like a review committee say, no, you do it, or someone else does it, or a review committee of some kind. I don't think, and unfortunately the gentlemen who are the, the advisors aren't here to tell me because they know it better than I do, but I don't believe there's anything specifically saying how it's chosen, just that you have to set up a system. I think it has to be the same for everybody. Oh, I'm sorry, you are. I'm sorry. I forgot. I'm used to the two gentlemen. So, can I defer to her, Madam Mayor?
yes, go ahead. You want to state the podium?
Sure.
State your name for us, please.
Good evening. I'm Charlotte Horton. I'm with Revitalize. How the process works is whether the city decides to apply for a third-party administrator or not. That's council's decision when that comes down to that. Your designated resolution would be Scott, if that's your choice. He would ultimately be the person to sign off on everything, or whoever that designated person is. The process to go through the homeowner rehab program is you set up program guidelines, whether that's your resolution designation or your TPA, usually work in conjunction together to get that done. And you decide in your program guidelines how that's decided upon, who meets those requirements. MISHDA follows HUD, which is the urban housing development at the federal level. They decide all of those guidelines. And then MISHDA follows those guidelines and then has their own state guidelines as well. So the process to do that, they just follow those guidelines. So as long as you meet those guidelines, which has to do with an AMI index, and as long as it's within, I believe it's a mile within the city limits, those housing units that they apply, that's how it's chosen. So there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's just however your program guidelines are set up.
Well, we don't have anything in this resolution that talks about having a committee or how those guidelines are going to be set up.
So
We do designate the manager as having the signature for everything.
Correct.
But that's my concern, is how are the people chosen and who makes that determination? And
So
do we need to have that in the resolution
No,
to move forward?
not in your resolution, you don't need that. What happens is after you submit your application, MISHDA requires a certain time period, and we've outlined that, helped the company in the application process between the company that's doing this and the municipality fill out the application. So there's a timeline guideline on there. And the first month to 2 months is when you sit down as a council and you decide what those guidelines look like. If you decide to hire a third-party administrator, they would also come and assist you and the company, the development company, with that process. Now, they're not part of the homeowner rehab process. That will be on the municipality itself. So if you hire a third-party administrator, they'll sit down with you and they'll help Scott and the council write those program guidelines.
Okay.
That's part of that's the administration fee that you pay them to help you do.
Okay.
So it could be, kind of be like EDC or something like that.
If that's who you
I mean-
decide to hire as your third-party administrator, yes, they can help you write those program guidelines.
That was just an example.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
But for the resolution, they only require, they need to know by title
Right.
who the person is who signs the documents. And if
Yeah,
it,
that's just someone that oversees the program, that oversees the disbursement of money, that oversees the financial documents, that oversees the communication between the municipality and the homeowners and the TPA if one is hired and the development company, because you essentially have two programs that are happening simultaneously.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, do we have any other council comments? Okay. Hearing none, at this time, I need a motion to close the public hearing on the CDBG application. That'd be on your page 32. Do I have a motion first to close the public hearing?
I'll move to close the public hearing for the CDBG application.
Support.
Okay. Any debate on the motion? All those in favor say yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Okay, let's move to number 8, which is the council action on the CDBG application resolution. And Mr. Cezak, would you like to make any more comments as to the resolution?
Not above and beyond what I've already said, except to say again, let's just authorize the resolution, the details that were asked. Like I said, that'll be part of the next step of the process. If we're approved, then we will figure that out. If it's myself, if it's a group, what that, consists. So that'll be something that council will decide when they set the rules for the program. So again, the only comment I have is to remind council that if you do make the motion, it's instead of XX, it's 01.
I make the motion to adopt resolution 2026-01, authorizing the city manager to submit an application for 1.5 million of community development block grant funding for rental rehab and homeowner rehab as presented.
Support.
Okay, I have a motion on the floor and seconded to, the motion reads to adopt resolution 2026-01, authorizing the city manager to submit an application for 1.5 million of community development block grant funding for rental rehab and homeowners rehab as presented. Do I have any debate on that motion? This is a resolution, so hearing none, don't we have to adopt the resolution?
Yeah, you said hearing none. I thought you were going to say you want a roll call.
I am.
Well, you said hearing none, so I thought you were like,
Hearing no objections.
oh, okay. I got confused.
Rita, would you like to do a roll call, please?
Yes. Campbell,
Yes.
Kish,
Yes.
Odie,
Yes.
Parker's absent, Riley,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Mayor Schneider,
Yes,
motion carried.
thank you. Okay, that was a fast one. So, we will move on to the next item. Next item, number 9, Norman Street construction bids, and I will ask the city manager if you'd like to explain that.
Yes, so as we all know, the main road project this year that's coming up in the spring is going to be the redevelopment of Norman Street, which will include water and sewer and storm sewer work, if I'm not mistaken. MLR Engineering was hired as our engineering firm for this project. They put out the bids as per city policy, and we did receive 8 bids, which were detailed on the attached bid sheet. MLR and I checked the references, we went over the options, and it is our recommendation to award the construction project to Glazer Dawes Corporation of Flushing, Michigan for the bid amount of $628,908.44. They are the lowest bidder, approximately $300,000 under the projected cost of the budget of the project, which will save us off this budget. We can roll those into next year, like Sherman and Howard, which are tentative up for next year. Usually with a bid this low, I know one of the questions that MLR and I had was, is this a company that bids low and then change orders to death? And from our checks of their stuff, that's not been their habit. So while I can't guarantee that, that is what their references said to us, is that no, their bid price is what the bid price is. So again, I can't guarantee anything, but that is their reputation, and what their references has checked for us. So the options are to award the Norman Street Rehabilitation Project to Glazer Dawes for the bid amount of $628,908.44, contingent on contracting and bonding at the recommendation of the engineering firm, and instruct me to sign all necessary documents. You can award it to someone else at their bid price, postpone, or take no action.
Okay. I will ask for a motion at this time.
I'll make a motion to award Norman Street Rehabilitation Project to Glacier Dawns Corporation for the bid amount of $628,908.44, contingent on contracting and bidding, and instruct the city manager to sign all necessary documents.
Support.
Okay, we have a motion and support. Now we will do debate. Any question? Yes, go ahead.
I mean, usually we see what the other bids are. Is this going to be something that is going to be, since we didn't see what's,
Oh no, the attachment has the bid, the sideways ones, that's the bid, what's it called? The bid tabulation.
of the other companies?
Yes, all the other
Okay.
companies are listed with the
I
bid tab. In
apologize.
fact, the ones that are highlighted in yellow at the bottom are the ones where MLR had to fix their math.
Okay.
So usually I just give it to you in that little box,
Okay.
but because of, they provided this, I attached
Okay.
that for your guys'
Okay,
reference.
thank you for that. I'm sorry.
That's
I
okay.
did not look close enough.
No
Appreciate that.
Yes, go ahead.
That was one of my concerns is, when you mentioned about the change orders, was because this is a lower bid, if we were gonna have change orders, that was gonna bring it up to or beyond what the other bidders were, but you feel confident that we're good?
Like I said, we can only go on the reputation based on the
From the
references, and I can't guarantee that you won't find something that will result in a change order. However, based on what we've been able to find out about them and what their reputation is, I don't know if MLR's worked. Ben, just not, have you worked with them before or no? Okay, so they haven't, so they did, there was a reference check, and the references said, no, they do the work for the price they bid. So again, I can't guarantee it, but that is what the references told us,
Okay.
so.
Thank you.
I have a question. Okay, and it says that the original budget and allow the dollars to go back into the respective funds, so I assume there's water and sewer involved in this?
Water, sewer, and local roads.
Okay, do you have any, did you talk to the treasurer about the amount of money we're spending in water and sewer?
Not specifically, just whatever that was budgeted that we won't be spending will go back into those will go back into those funds as fund balance at the end of the year. So I believe the entire project was originally budgeted for 900 and some, oh no, sorry, 1,050,000 was what we budgeted originally. So, and that was split among those three funds at a percentages based on the engineer's estimate of the cost. So whatever percentage based on the bid came in, so like say in the water fund, we budgeted 500,000 and the bid came in at 300, that 200 would go back into the water fund balance at the end of the year because it won't be spent because the bid came in lower than the anticipated budget.
Okay, I was just concerned because of the money that we're spending in the water and the
Yeah.
sewer to make sure that we're covered and
Yep.
we don't get a street half done and find out we don't have the money, so.
Oh no, we budgeted for this and it came in under, so we're still good on fund balance and everything, but this coming in under and not over is a definite plus.
Okay. Do we have more discussion? Any council member on this? Okay, the motion to award Norman Street Rehabilitation Project to Glazer Dawes Corporation for the bid amount of $628,908.44 contingent on contracting and bonding, and instruct the city manager to sign all necessary documents. Are we ready for the vote? Okay. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Opposed, no. Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next item, number 10, the kayak launch grant application resolution. You want to explain that?
So, as we all know, we kind of had a bit of an up and down with this kayak launch project that was put in the budget. It was budgeted for $45,000 to install a kayak launch at Chippewa Landing. However, we figured it would be bigger than just buying the thing and installing it. Therefore, council reallocated part of the money to have a feasibility study. After meeting with Rowe, along with Parks and Rec and DPW, we developed the attached proposal, which would see the launch installed along with improvements to accessibility This was done in order to make the project attractive for the Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund Grant Program. We have an attached cost estimate from Rowe that it would cost $288,635. However, this grant program would cover 74% of the funding, or $213,590 for the project, leaving the city's cost at $75,045. The project has been a priority of the committee, and normally I would have brought them to this, but if I want to have an application in on April 1st, I would need a resolution from council authorizing the application for the grant. So as with anything I've done with Parks and Rec, we would put this in the budget, but it was going to be contingent on obtaining the grant, so if we didn't get the grant, we wouldn't do the project. So again, this is just allows me to put in a resolution. If the budget comes along and you say don't do the project, well then I just wasted a little bit of time on paperwork. But this just allows me to put put an application in for grant funding for this project by April 1st, which again, we're not gonna have another council meeting before, so that's why I asked for the resolution. And I know the Parks and Rec is meeting in a week or so, so I know we'll probably want their feedback on it. But again, just so I can have the authorization of council to put in a grant application for the project.
And that money would go back, if we don't get the grant, the money would go back in the fund balance, right?
So we would budget the probably 300 in as, you know, the cost just in case it's over. And then you would have 213 we would budget the 288, the 213 would come in as income, the 75 wouldn't be accounted for as income. And if we don't get the grant, then it just sits there. Kind of like other, right now we had the 200,000 for the tennis court in there with the grant that we didn't get for that. So that was currently in the budget. That's just, again, it's not kind of the same thing. We didn't get the grant, we didn't do the project, so it just kind of rolls back into fund balance if we don't spend that money.
Okay, so we need a motion first before we can discuss it. We have to have a motion on the floor, so we can discuss it.
I make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-02 authorizing the submission of Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund grant applications to install kayak launch at Chippewa Landing Park with a maximum match contribution of $75,045 as presented.
Okay, do we have a second?
Support.
Okay, now we'll do debate. Do we have debate? Any council members like to? Yes, go ahead.
Is this grant award also in the fall, like so many of them have been in the past? So it would be something that wouldn't get done until the spring of next year, probably?
Correct.
Yes, John?
Is this a reimbursement style grant? In other words, we put the money out first and then we submit in and receive reimbursement
I
back?
believe so, yes. Yes, because that's why we have to account for the income coming in and the full cost going out. So yes, it is reimbursement.
And is this a percent award of the grant? In other words, the total project, 74% is an odd amount.
Yeah.
So is it a percentage of what the total project is, and is it capped at that amount, or is it a?
I think the 7426 came out because of rounding. I think it's a 7525 grant, so I think it's because of a rounding of the whole dollars. But yeah, the 74% would cover our cost, would be the grant amount, and the 25 we have to have a minimum amount of match, as with most grants. I think the 7624 is just a rounding error because of how the math worked out.
Okay.
So,
Councilor Kish?
Is this gonna be in the budget year for, not this budget, but the next budget
this would be in the proposed budget for 2026-27, yes.
Okay, because to a couple things, we haven't even talked about the budget, the proposed budget for the next fiscal year. So that concerns me. The other thing that really concerns me is the fact that $45,000 was budgeted for the kayak. The money was reallocated, almost all of it was reallocated. Now we're asking for us to commit to the 300,000, but basically the 75,000. Whereas if the money would not have been reallocated to purchase other things, we would have had 45,000 to go towards that 75,000, and now it's going to cost us the full 75,000. And what's going to stop them from, or whoever, from reallocating the money again? I just have those real questions.
Can I speak to that or?
Yes, that's
Okay.
a good point. Go ahead.
In the grant proposal, so the 45 was just on buying the dock. So I think the one they have in there is 59. The rest of the cost is basically the accessibility of getting the sidewalk put in and everything else to get people there. Because one of the ways to make the grant more attractive is to include accessibility. And as part of that, one of the things I will be doing is giving a letter of support from the Disability Action Network of Eastern Michigan to say this is including disability access to make the grant more attractive. As to how this has gone back and forth, again, that was, the committee asked, council said yes to that, and that's how that went. They believe, I think they had 15,000 left for the feasibility study. It ended up costing only 4,400. So there's $10,600 left. Whether or not Parks and Rec Committee makes another request to reallocate that is up to them, and whether or not it's granted or not is up to this council. So if this council says, well, we'd like to roll that 10 into next year to, cover this if we choose to do this, that is council's decision. If they say no, we'll reallocate it and spend it on something else this year. Again, that's a decision of council. And again, that recommendation or that request comes from Parks and Rec, not me. So I can't speak to what they're going to do or what they're not going to do. I can only speak to what was asked of me to do. And then again, like I said, anytime that council said to me, anytime I can get grant funding to cover stuff like this is always an attractive thing. And again, putting in just buying a launch for the 45 didn't cover any cost of like installing a sidewalk to get there. It would have been in pure dirt. So we would have probably had those costs in the next budget anyways if we would have bought the thing for 45,000. So again, a lot of this, if you look at the estimate from Rowe, it's 59,000 for the kit, but the rest of it is for pavement, concrete, erosion control, all kinds of other things that we would have had to deal with installing it. So that's why I said in the beginning of the memo, I think that the 45 initiative was just, we found a price for the thing, we'll put that in the budget. I think that maybe the cart was put before the horse a little bit, which happens, we've all done it. So, this is kind of resetting that expectation of, okay, if we're going to do this and do it properly, this is what the cost is. And since I know that, you guys have said, get me grants when I can, I'm trying to do that for you right now. And again, it's all we're doing is saying, Scott, you can apply for the grant. If the budget comes along, you say, I want to drop this. Then if I get accepted and rejected in September, I said, sorry, they dropped it, or yay, they put it left in the budget. All this is doing is letting me put in an application for a grant. If the grant comes through and council decides that time we're not going to do the project, they cannot do the project. So, and I know you raised this concern last year with the tennis courts. It's just the unfortunate nature of our fiscal year versus the states and how they want their applications. Because the state runs on a October to September fiscal year. So that's why they say their awards are in usually September, and they say, okay, you have our fiscal year to spend it. And because we don't run the same fiscal year, unfortunately, anytime we're going to apply for these grants, unless we do some sort of like forecasting, we're going to run into this problem. Mm-hmm. So.
Well, what I see the problem to be is what I think that I hear Councilmember Kish saying that is when we go for a grant and we have to have that $45,000, that $45,000 is put there to cover our part of that grant. Therefore, if that grant is not used, that money should be going back to fund balance, is what I think I hear Kish saying.
Well, I was just concerned that the money was there, it was reallocated, so it's no longer there. So now we have to come up with the whole amount. And I just need some kind of assurance that we're not going to go through this process, because I do appreciate you getting and applying for these grants, about putting the money aside and then just having it reallocated for something else. And then here we go again, we got this project we'd like to do and the money's not there any longer.
Doreen, your hand up. Can I just make a quick response to that, please?
I'm sorry?
I know Doreen has her hand up. Can I just make a one-sentence response, please? The reallocation was done at council's direction, so I can't promise that you guys won't reallocate in the future. I can say I won't ask, but I can't promise what you guys are going to do.
Right. And I can reallocate.
Go ahead.
Okay, so how else are we supposed to be doing stuff to make things better if we don't try to find this stuff out? Okay, we wanted a kayak launch. Mm-hmm. We went through and we found that it wasn't, so now we've got Scott. But if we don't go through and do this, we didn't lose the money, we reallocated it, but we didn't lose any money.
You misunderstood what I'm saying. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that
No,
normally
what
it
I'm
goes
answering
back.
to is what Shar is saying, when she said, now that money would be, but we didn't lose that money, they reallocated it towards something else. But that's all part of Parks and Rec, and if we don't start doing some of this stuff and finding out and doing our research like they did, that they found out that it was more money, then, I mean, how else are we gonna be able to better things for our community?
Can I say that that $45,000 was not attached to any grant?
Right.
That $45,000 was not attached to a grant. So it was a reallocation based on education and the findings of what they wanted to buy, and it was reallocated based on what they could and couldn't do, but it wasn't attached to a grant.
Right, I realize that.
Okay, yes.
Okay, so if I'm understanding right, what we're saying is you're putting in for the grant. If we don't get it, the money that we put aside will go back. It won't stay.
Well, it won't be,
Well, it won't be spent. I mean, it will eventually go back into the fund.
if I may.
Yes.
This is kind of like which actually is the next resolution, is a reapplication, but like the tennis court project. We had an estimate of $350,000 in the budget to do the tennis court project with a $150,000 grant next year. I
Right,
applied, I didn't get it,
Right.
we didn't spend the $350, we didn't get the $150. This would work the same way. So if I put this in, we put it in the budget, and come September, October, we don't get it, then we just let it roll back into fund balance, and maybe we try again next year.
okay.
Right.
So I'm understanding it
Yeah.
right. So
Yes.
it won't get used, it'll roll back into the.
Well,
okay.
again, how I am presenting it to council, I would
Yes.
not use it for any other project. However, because those decisions are ultimately of council, if you guys chose to say, Scott, spend this $200,000 on something else, I do it.
Right.
I would probably argue against it.
Right.
But if that is the instruction of council, I will follow the instruction of council. If you say no, instead, like I know for the tennis courts, there was a discussion of if we don't get the grant, let's just knock them down. So if you say, okay, we didn't get the grant for the tennis courts, spend 10 grand to knock them down, okay, that's what you want. Now again, my presentation to council is that as long as I'm in this chair, I will not ask to spend that money unless we get the grant. So, if I get hit by a turnip truck on the way home and someone else sitting here, that's not their promise. And again, council can do what it will.
Okay. Go ahead.
Are we in round two now?
Yes.
Is this a yearly grant? And as far as the timelines, I think you've already explained it, but this is about the timeline when the guidelines come out and the application for the state begins. So we will be in this position, or the council will, whoever is sitting here, whenever that year comes back around.
Correct.
Because we won't be into the next budget because of the fiscal year differences. Okay. When will this grant be awarded? Is that going to be announced before our next budget?
No,
No.
it's in the fall, usually September, October.
And most definitely appreciate what you do as far as locating the grants. And absolutely, we directed the reallocation, not you. So yes, thank you.
I would like to thank Roe, though they advised me to which grant to go after for which project. So I will not take full credit. I will thank them for advising. What's his name, Derek? Doug. He's their Parks and Rec environmental person. He recommended this one for the trust fund grant, another one for the recreation path. They have different grants with different criteria, because this one I think touches water. I think it more fit in with that one. So figuring out what goes where is also kind of half the fun.
Right. Any other questions? Just to make myself clear, I have no problem with you getting grants. In fact, I push you all the time to get
You do.
grants. And I have no problem with having to put the other part of the money up. The only problem I have is when it doesn't go back in the fund balance when we don't get the grants. That's all I'm saying.
Understand?
So I just want to clarify what I was saying. Okay, so we have a motion on the floor. The motion is to adopt resolution 2026-02, authorizing the submission of a Michigan Natural Resources Trust Fund grant application to install a kayak launch at the Chippewa Landing Park with a maximum match contribution of $75,045 as presented.
Can I ask a quick question
Yes.
again? What does, where you said 75,045 matching funds in cash and or force account, what does force account mean?
Labor cost, things that aren't cash. So like if I had DPW install something and I could say I'm charging their hourly rate as part of that match.
Okay.
Or if like we had donors come and say I'll clean something up, or someone donated the cement work.
Okay.
That's what they mean by force account, is non-cash. So to use a old term from when I was doing political campaigns, cash or an in-kind contribution.
Okay.
Okay, are we ready for the question? You want to do a roll call vote, please?
Yes. Kish?
You have to go with me first, didn't you?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Because it's for the or before the grant, yes.
Odie?
Yes.
Parker's absent. Riley?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Mayor Schneider?
Yes,
Motion carried.
thank you. Okay, let's move on to number 11, tennis courts grant application resolution. And city manager, please.
So this is, last year I applied for the Recreation Passport Grant to rebuild the tennis courts. We didn't get it. This is me putting in the application again. Parks and Rec Committee did ask me to put in the application. The one thing is I did get an updated cost from Rowe. Last year was at $350 because everything's more expensive. Now it's at $381. So unfortunately, the maximum we can get is $150. It does have a minimum of 25% match, but we hope that the higher amount that we're willing to put in would make our grant more attractive. Also, this is another one I'll be getting a letter of support from the Disability Action Network to make it more attractive. And I know that, I want to say Doug again. Doug did speak to the person from the DNR who's our area representative, and kind of explains some of the nuances of the grant application. So, you know, to say one of the things he said is make sure to add the age of the projects as a way to make it a little bit more sweeter for them. So we are working with them to try and make the application a little bit more sweeter and make it more viable to be granted this year. So this, again, just a resolution allowing me to put in an application for a recreation passport grant to rebuild the tennis courts at Beath Park with a maximum match contribution of $231,570. And again, same thing as everything else. It was in this year's budget. We didn't use it, so I'm gonna roll it over. We don't use it, doesn't get done. This just allows me to put in the application for a grant.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-03, authorizing the submission of the recreation passport grant application to build the tennis courts at Beath Park with a maximum match contribution of $231,570 as presented.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Now we'll go to debate. Do I hear any debate?
Question.
Yes, go ahead.
So the last time the tennis courts were done, they weren't done properly. And I know it was before your time. However, and I don't know who the company was that did it, but do we have any guarantees or how are we going to be assured that the base and the problem that they had the last time with the courts, which was a total waste of taxpayer dollars, is not, you know, resurfaced and is not repeated?
That will have to be done as part of the engineering for the project if we get to that step. So we'll hire an engineering firm to do, and we will tell them that, you know, if it's one company, then they already know. If it's another company, because obviously it'll be competitively bid, then we'll tell them that this is an underlying problem. Make sure that, you know, you do extensive studies to make sure your engineering standards for this deal with that issue. That is something that we will address, though, at that point. If we get the grant and we do move forward, when we develop the engineering and the actual standards that an engineering firm will put out for construction, part of that will be going over the issues with the current court, why they were caused, and what we can do to mitigate them.
Other questions?
Just
Yes.
a clarification. I believe I've heard 200,000 has already been set aside for this. Is that correct? Or
In the
budget?
current budget, we put aside $350 for the project, $150 as counted as income for the grant, for a total contribution from the city of $200. that were based on last year's estimate of $350,000 for the project. Because I asked Roe to please update the cost, because with the year, everything went up. That's where they came up with a new total. So the next year's budget will reflect 150 coming in, 231 going out, for a grand total of 381 for the project.
Any further questions? Okay, the motion is, motion to adopt resolution 2026-03, authorizing the submission of a recreation passport grant application to rebuild the tennis courts at Beath Park with a maximum match contribution of $231,570 as presented. Hearing that motion, are you ready for the vote? All those in, we have another resolution.
Yes, roll call. Odie?
Yes.
Parker's absent. Riley?
Yes.
White?
Yes.
Campbell?
Yes.
Kish?
Yes.
Mayor Schneider?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on. Number 12, well 9 and 10 drilling bids. Would you like to address that?
So as you know, about last month, we awarded the job for wells 9 and 10 to Brown Well Drilling. Per the specifications, they're required to provide a performance bond for the job. Due to internal issues within them, they were unable to produce a performance bond and sent me a letter withdrawing from the project. Therefore, we must re-award the job to one of the other bidders. To refresh council's memory, the other two bidders were Northern Pump and Well for $453,400 and Peerless Midwest for $458,502. I will note, as I did in my memo, that there was a typo somewhere, and Peerless was actually at $458, not $448, like my last memo said. I think I don't remember who made the typo, but it was a typo that I based that off of. So it was that's why, if you look back at your old minutes, wait a minute, that number changed. That's why there was a typo somewhere in the process. So WSP, DPW Superintendent Reese, and I are recommending that we award the contract to the second place bidder, Northern Pump and Well. They have confirmed their bid is still good. They have confirmed they can produce a performance bond. This bid will exceed the budget amount of $400,000, so we will need a budget adjustment for the cost of the project. So, which thankfully I think the savings from the Norman Street will help cover the overage for this one. So hopefully that'll work out. To quote an old boss of mine, it'll all come out in the wash.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to award the well 9 and 10 drilling contract to Northern Pump and Well for the bid price of $453,400 and instruct the city manager to sign all necessary documents in order with the treasurer to adjust fiscal year 2025-2026 budget to account for the increased cost of the project.
Support.
We have a motion and support. Do we have debate? Hearing no debate, the motion reads to award well 9 and 10 drilling contract to Northern Pump and Well for the bid price of $453,400. Instruct the city manager to sign all necessary documents and order the city treasurer to adjust the fiscal year 2025-26 budget to account for the increased cost of the project. Any questions? Hearing none? All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, no. The motion carries. Okay, let's move on. We have no items postponed. And we have committee liaison position reports. And just so the public knows, all these packets are on our city web. So you can also see all the documents that we have in front of us. And so feel free, if you don't know how to get onto it, just go ahead and call our clerk and she'll help get you on and show you how it works. So committee liaison and position reports. I don't have a report. We didn't have a EDC. We'll go to, do you have one for Chamber?
I do. Chamber, they did buy space in the vacation guide, as they do every year, highlighting events in Cairo. They did receive a communications. Congresswoman Lisa McClain is having a Southeast Michigan Job Fair on August 13th, so if anyone has anything they'd like to be included in that, please let me know. Most important, Citizen of the Year is on April 11th, Saturday. I am obligated to sell 10 tickets, so please, someone, please buy your tickets from me so I can meet my obligation, because as you all know, I don't know anyone outside this room. So please buy your tickets from me to Citizen of the Year. So then beyond that, Cars and Crafts, June 5th through 6th, they did put in their information for that event already, so we'll be working on that. Their golf outing is the 7th. That's kind of all we have at the moment. They don't have any ribbon cuttings or after hours. Let's see, this is too late for that, yeah. And so yeah, that's all we got for the moment from the chamber.
Okay. In the downtown development, Kish was not there. I was there, but the minutes are actually in the packet, so there's no sense in redoing them again. Fair board,
They held the meeting March 2nd. New business, they went over the harness racing dates have been set. May 30th training date, and they will need to have the road closed. June 23rd and 24th are the race dates, and then the Friday and Saturday before the fair in July, 25th and 26th. And if you haven't been down there, it is a lot of fun. They have working with Jeff Goldsman to come up with a painting for a mural down there. They are still continuing with the Kids' Day on Tuesday, and they have art fair and some other things, but the art fair is going to be August 29th down at the fairgrounds, along with Relay for Life and some other things, different dates.
okay. That it? Thank you. Okay, Park and Rec,
The two big things happening with Parks and Rec right now are the 21st, Friday the 21st is the burning of the snowman. So winter will be over here in just a couple minutes, and we're gonna burn the snowman. And then on March 28th, we'll be in Beath Park for the Easter egg hunt. So the rabbit will be at Beath Park. I understand there's a backdrop, and there'll be all kinds of spots for kids to get pictures taken this year. I saw some pretty cool stuff that's gonna be in the park designating the different areas for the Easter egg hunt. And there's some pretty cool donations for the kids to win. So those 2 weekends in a row in our parks.
good, thank you.
Mhm.
Okay,
This is kind of fair related, but it's a little bit Parks and Rec related. If you haven't had a chance to go down and look at what's going on around the track with the new construction of the fencing and the stairs and the entrance to the grandstand and stuff, it's gonna be amazing, so keep your eye on it.
cool, thank you. Okay. Next item, the Planning Commission, we'll skip over that. Fiscal County Board of Commissioners, and Parker's not here, and we had no zoning board of appeal meeting. So we will move on. The next item is the mayor's report, and that also is on the web. Then we have the manager's report. Yes,
Just, I forgot, $40 for the ticket.
Any yet?
Mine.
9?
Mine.
Oh.
Mine. I don't even have a date, so just mine. Now you let me lose my train of thought. Two things. One, I want to, as a former resident of the UP, I'd like to just take a moment to say to all my former friends up there that I wish them well, and I hope everyone in council does too. They're measuring the snow in yardsticks right now.
fine.
So, as a former resident, I do appreciate that. And God, there's one other thing, and I'm blanking on it because of Jill making her joke at me.
Now let's not blame others.
No, I did have one thing in my head, but I unfortunately kind of went out with that. So I do just want to say that, and also again, as I said in the memo, for everything that happened on that Wednesday with all the rain, all the department heads, even though I was in Lansing, did keep me abreast of everything. So I thank them for that, and they do an amazing job every day. So I thank them for all the work they did under those circumstances and every other circumstance from this fun week we've had. So.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Clerk's report, that's in your packet. Anything to add, Rita?
No.
Okay. Treasurer's report, it's also in your packet. Anything to add, Tammy? Okay. Let's skip down on the agenda. We do have a closed meeting scheduled. However, let's skip down to the additional public comment so that if people have something left to say, they can say it now. This is for anything that you want to talk on. Do you have any public comment you want to address? See any?
Nope.
Okay,
Mayor,
yes.
I can go to stand at the podium if you'd like, but I would just like to thank DPW, fire, PD for the amount of response they had during the rain.
Yes,
There was a lot of water out there and they did a great job helping take care of everything.
yes, they did.
I remember what it was. It was about the ladies' comment during public comment, about public hearing. That was identified. We put the tape up for that drainage ditch that was across the street from her. That is on our agenda to be fixed as soon as we get parts.
Okay, thank
So
you,
yeah, that's what it was.
thank you. Okay, so just so you know, we will be doing a motion right now to go into closed session, and everyone would be asked to leave except for the council members.
May I be excused
You
for the bulk of
will
the
be
meeting?
used and so will the clerk.
Thank you.
So do we have a motion?
May I make a motion to go into closed session? Section 8 of the Open Meetings Act to consider periodic personnel evaluation of a public officer, employee, staff member, or individual agent.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and this requires a roll call vote. Rita?
Parker's absent. Riley,
Yes.
White,
Yes.
Campbell,
Yes.
Kish,
Yes.
Odie,
Yes.
Mayor Schneider.
Yes. Okay, we'll give you a few minutes to let people exit.
You know, sit in Scott's chair. Nothing to make you feel confident like you're.
Should've just left on it.
I'm just gonna take my cord and go.
Feel free to take a few minutes to just stand up and rest. Okay,
I move that we go back into, or we return to open session,
time at,
8:25 PM.
Support.
all those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Opposed, no? We are now in open session. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes as presented in closed session?
I make a motion to accept the minutes as written in closed session.
Support.
Okay. All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed, no? Motion carries. Okay, we have another one.
I will make a motion to extend the city treasurer's contract for a 3-year period.
Okay.
Support.
We have a motion to support. All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Opposed, no? Motion carries. Do we have a wage one?
I will make a motion to increase the treasurer's wages starting in 2026 to $72,000 per year. And then for the next 2 years of the contract, 2027, her wage would be $74,880. And in 2028, it would be $77,875.20.
Do we have a second? I'll second it. All those in favor say yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Opposed, no? Motion carries. Do we have any other comments to make? Hearing none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
Motion to.
In unison,
Yeah.
support.
All those in favor say yes?
Yes.
Opposed, no? Motion carries. Thank you, guys. I know that it's been long, but we've accomplished a lot today, tonight.